All right, welcome back. Finance Minister, that's Enoch Godongwana, has announced a tax break for households and businesses that opt for renewable power. Now, this, of course, to encourage South Africans to take pressure off the grid. So how can people then take advantage of this rebate? I'm joined now by energy expert Wido Schnabel to discuss this even further. Wido, thank you for your time and good morning to you. I think those who probably haven't caught on to the solar tax bonanza, as some media reports are labeling it, I mean, how would you explain it and clarify it in terms of, I suppose, the pros to what the minister had to say?
Yeah, well, I would say that it's not really a bonanza, to be honest. I think actually he stated a few times in his speech of bold steps. I'm missing the boldness of this one. So what he announced for individuals is a 15,000 rebate on solar modules. What about the inverter? What about the battery? What about the mounting structures, the cables and all of that, the entire installation? Shouldn't that be, a part of a bold support for deploying solar on individual roofs? So I'm missing the boldness of this, definitely. It is the first time that something like that is done. And I'm also missing that for those that, that are not really in the higher income that do pay taxes and that needs a step for them as well. So we're missing out a big portion of a approach here to get millions of South Africans to be part of this.
Yeah.
And that is really what I'm missing in this step. So, it's not bold, definitely not.
So you don't think there are advantages that, those in business or, households that have solar can take from this statement here by the minister?
Yes, there is another program for businesses that is there. You can within, there's this, you can basically offset the installation costs within the first year, 100% deduction. That's now increased to 125%. It will not make a huge difference, I think. But if we are talking about a big rollout for individuals, that's definitely not there. And then there's the 12B that has been there before. But, all of these things are helping, but they are not the bold steps that we expected from the minister.
Yeah. What would have been an ideal statement in your perspective?
Well, first of all, I think, they could have engaged with organizations like Satya or individuals in the industry to see, okay, how can we really approach this? How can we make it work? And not only make the tax deduction of 15,000 Rand just towards the module. So I think that is the first step. One, it has to be to the total system. And I think we should think big. So I've got this idea, this dream, to build 1 million solar roofs. So we built, and that is for lower income. So that's not for myself that can afford a big system, but it's a 3 kilowatt system with a little inverter. So the roof of that house, that RDP house or whatever you want to call it, is solar panels. It's 3 kilowatts, for example, a small house. And it has got a 3 kilowatt inverter. It has got a small battery. And it has got LED lights. That's kind of the basic kind of thing. And it has got a plug point where you can put in your TV, your chargers, your fridge. You can't boil a kettle there. But, just for the essentials. And then during the day when people are at work, this system is connected to the municipal or ESCOM grid. And that energy is being transferred into the grid to the work, to wherever you go to work. And then in the evenings, you can basically claim those kilowatt hours that you produce during the day back for your own consumption. You know that Treasury is financing the 60 kilowatt hour per person in that have got a need for for free.
Right.
Unfortunately, municipalities use that for other means. We found that out, that it's not really going to those that are in need. But if you take that kind of program or that kind of money and you put that towards this, and we built this 1 million systems, maybe also more than that, 2 million or 3 million systems at the end of the day. But then we would have a real just energy transition, because then 4 million or 1 million households will all become little ESCOMs, okay, and participate in the energy generation. That would be a bold program that he should have supported. On top of that, if you have got, if you need to roll out 1 million of these kind of roofs,
right,
you need about 10,000 installers. So we could run a big skills program, a training program to roll out a PV installer program, which is one of the big things we need in any way for a change from fossil fuels to renewables. We need these kind of technicians, we need electricians, and that would drive that approach on top of and putting people into jobs. So that these kind of bold steps I would have expected, and I'm asking and inviting the minister to engage with us in the industry so that we can come up with these kind of programs and projects that really will make a difference to everyone's life and put lights into the houses of those that cannot afford a tax break.
And I have to say, a need right now, that is, you've just said, Wido. Thank you so much for adding your voice to this conversation. That is, of course, energy expert Wido Schnabel joining us right here on the South African Morning, saying, didn't hear much of a bold statement from the finance minister. More consultation with industry would have definitely helped to provide a better statement from his perspective.